I started asking people to tell me something good instead of saying, how are you? And my parents were like, are you crazy? Why are you saying that? And I'm like, because Steve said in his book, people say something negative or like the truth, and you're not going to outgrow whatever negative is going on in that moment if you're just thinking about only that. You could tell someone something good, and it's like it transforms the relationship, the conversation completely.
Changing behavior is a very difficult thing to teach or to do, but that's where the greatest gains are.
Hi everyone, welcome to my podcast, Quest for Knowledge. I'm doing my second episode now with Steve Nudelberg. He's the author of my favorite book, Confessions of a Serial Salesman. Actually, he's also the owner of On the Ball, which, can you tell us a little bit about what that is?
Absolutely. First of all, I'm so excited to be here. I love when young people take the tools that are available to them and then put them into practice. And this is not the first time we're meeting. We've done this before. When you read my book, you reached out and asked great questions. I suggested we meet, which we did, which thankfully your dad joined us so that nobody thought it was weird. But you're a special young lady. And when I asked you about your journey into all of these tools, you said, I'm on a quest for knowledge. And then
you helped me with that.
Wouldn't you know, boom, we're here and we're doing a podcast. So I am happy to answer any questions. First question you asked me is, I'm a career entrepreneur. When I was a kid, nobody really knew what that word was. But basically, I was willing to bet on myself. And I was fortunate. I just put myself in opportunity where a couple of things. I was not afraid to fail, and I was willing to bet on myself.
So how did you write this book?
So I've been doing what I'm doing going on 40 plus years. You know, I just turned 65. So it's 40 plus years of doing this. I've learned a lot, shared a lot. And somebody said to me, hey, you know what? Your grandkids will never really know what you did, because I'm at a different part of my career now. As you know, my sons, run the business. And so someone said, you should write a book. And I was voted the least likely to write a book in high school.
Really?
Not really, but really, because it just was never on my radar. But when they said it, it struck a nerve. And all I did was put my process. I'm a big believer that success is based on daily behaviors. I learned that early in my career. What you focus on is exactly what you give energy to and what will help you. And so the book is just an outline of the 27 rules that I used to guide my life, what I used to guide my kids' lives as they were growing up, and the countless people who have worked with me, for me, around me. So it's just really, it is, I call it Confessions because people ask me like, wow, you've been sort of successful in a couple of different careers, a couple of different, silos, and it's all process, just like athletes, just like musicians, you got to prepare for success.
What's your favorite chapter? Mine is the one about like, there's 86,000 seconds in a day.
Yeah.
And then the money comparison. I like that. That's like my favorite thing.
So my favorite is Tell Me Something Good. For those of you who are music fans, the Shaka Khan song, which you probably are too young to know.
I have no idea what
but she did a song, Tell Me Something Good. And what I realized early in my career was that the pattern that people had was when they asked someone, hey, how you doing? They would come back with some bad answer, like negative. This is bad. I don't feel good. This is bad. My boss, my house, my car. And I was like, wow, I didn't want to be in those conversations, number one. Number two, being in a development role, not a sales role, in a development role. I was looking to develop relationships. Well, you're starting off with all of this negative. So I flipped that. And instead of saying, how are you? I'd say, hey, Mika, tell me something good. And you would be stunned until you told me whatever you told me, that's what would stick as the foundation of our relationship. And I have countless people that I have met in various walks of life who I started with that question. And they were like, wow, that's fantastic. I'm going to steal it. And I
stole it.
And so it's not stealing. This is the part about being a thought leader, is that if
Yeah.
you're willing to share your thoughts, those thoughts are then going to get spread. That's what TEDx is ideas worth spreading. I'm blessed that many of my ideas are worth spreading.
I actually, after I read the book, that chapter, Tell Me Something Good, I started asking people, tell me something good instead of saying, how are you? And my parents were like, are you crazy? Why are you saying that? And I'm like, because Steve said in his book, people will say something negative or like the truth, and you're not going to outgrow whatever negative is going on in that moment if you're just thinking about only that. You could tell someone something good, and it's like it transforms the relationship, the conversation completely.
You are wise beyond your years, and I will tell you this specifically. Changing behavior is a very difficult thing to teach or to do. But that's where the greatest gains are. I was willing to look at all of my behavior, change it to get better. Our mantra as a business is, can you get 1% better every day? And in the short time I know you, you've had no fear, or at least you didn't share the fear about putting things into action. So when you say to me, wow, I read your book and I started doing that, anything you do for the first time, you're generally going to suck at it.
Yeah.
Let's think about it. You know how to ride a bike?
We could say.
Okay. But you didn't just hop on a bike and go riding. There's lots of turmoil, falling and scratching and scraping.
I fell when I was 16 on a bike.
Okay.
In Switzerland.
So my point being is that you have to be willing to deal with failure along the way with all new behavior. But once you commit it to consistency and, the discipline to do it. So I've been doing the same thing. These rules, I've been doing the same thing for, the balance of my career. My boys who became college football coaches understood that's how we show up.
Yeah. Mark has a book too. I've never read it, but how did he write that? Or,
So
what was the reason?
Mark spent a little time working in our business early in his life, and then chose the path to become a college football coach.
Where did he do it?
So he originally did it at Florida State, and then that led him on a 14-year journey to lots of different cities. He did coach at my alma mater, which was University of Florida, which was
Go Gators.
Absolutely wonderful. Loved it. So, but his journey was based on the same thing. When you get into team sports, it's very disciplined. It's very, calendar. Here's what we do. Here's when we do it. And there's no guesswork.
I saw his post about that a few days ago. Yeah.
So he specifically wrote the book about sort of taking what he learned from me, applying it to a sport. And then the book is Family Football and Failure.
Yeah.
And it was about his relationship with failure. And I think the biggest caveat that anybody can take away, and you and I talked about it when we had breakfast, is that, if you're not failing, you're not doing enough.
Yeah.
And if you fail and you look at it for the gift that it is about learning, what is the lesson I'm taking away from this? And for me, that was, really still is. It's interesting. People introduce me when I get on stage, or, oh my God, he wrote a book. He's an expert.
Yeah.
I'm really not an expert. I call myself a student.
Yeah.
And people go, well, why? I go, well, I'm constantly learning, and I am up to speed on so many new things. AI, it started that way with LinkedIn or video or all of these things that we use in changing the process, but it's still discipline and consistency. And I will tell you this, and I hope you take it to heed, consistency beats intensity every time.
Yeah. So you post on LinkedIn every day.
I do.
I try to do that too. There was 2 days where one day where I've missed it, a few days where I was too late. The prime time, 7 a.m., right?
Okay.
I think it's 7 a.m. too.
There's different theories. As long as you're there every day.
Yeah.
To us, we look at it as a networking event.
Yeah.
The consistency of showing up the same time every day is good, but there are on occasions, days that I don't do that. But I've never missed a day in 13 years.
I've missed one day in 6 months, so good for you. But
Yeah.
how do you come up with content every day? Because there was a week where I was like, what am I doing? I was posting the same thing every single day.
So most people look at the content side of that as I need to create it. For me and for what we teach, it's more documenting. I guarantee you every single day there's a thought that runs through your mind, whether it's at a red light, whether it's in a restaurant, whether it's whatever you're experiencing that day. If you keep your eyes open for one experience that you can share and you can take a picture of it, or somehow all of the people you're interacting with at school, at whatever charity you're involved in, and I know you do that. But so to me, the idea to document as opposed to create is very genuine. Everything you see me post is in relation to something that's happening to me and something that I feel will add value to people. So I'm not trying to sell anything. That I'm not pitching anything. I am looking to create connectivity where people go, wow, that was good. I like that. And even if they don't, maybe one day they will.
Yeah. You say at the end of your book, give to give, right? Give to give?
Give to get.
Give to get. So what do you mean by give to get?
Great question. So, it's a little misleading because for me, when I got into the world of sales or business development, everybody was like, you gotta be aggressive and gotta go, get it. I said, what happens if I give it first? And I'll give you an example. If I sat down with somebody, and this actually happened with your dad, I knew a little bit about the business that you guys were in. And I said, so like, what would be a good introduction? And he goes, what do you mean? I go, like, who would you want to meet? And he told me, and I made that introduction. And from that, we've developed this wonderful friendship and partnership because I gave first. I am meeting people at scale. I've done that my entire career. There's got to be somebody in my world I can introduce you that can add value. And if you're willing to do that first, but sales doesn't teach that. They go, get the sale. And I don't. So it's somewhat misleading because it's give to give. I just want to give. And I believe, maybe hokey, the more I give, the more I get in return.
Something good comes from it.
It's a boomerang universe laws of attraction thing that works for me.
My dad introduced me to you when he showed me this book. We were talking about business every night because I was like, I wanted to start a marketing company and I was just wanting to jump to the fun part, writing the logo, doing all the things, not actually understand the business fundamentals. And then I saw your book and that's why I started posting on LinkedIn. And now that's like part of my personality and I just love it so much. But also, relationships, you always are like relationships first. How do you handle all these relationships? Because I can only handle like 4 at one time. My dad has one friend probably. He tells me that all the time.
He has more than one friend.
He likes to say he has one friend.
So, for me, using the tools that are available to us by posting every day and having those people connected to me in that universe, they see me every day. So I could travel tomorrow to San Francisco and see somebody that I haven't seen in years, and they go, I know exactly what's happening in your life because I've shared it with them.
Right.
So being top of mind is very good for business and for personal. So whether it's a friend, a family member, a business associate, whatever, I am sharing a piece of me every day that keeps me, and vice versa. When I read, and I have curated my feed to be people that I want to know what's happening, I don't need to see you every day to know what's happening in your life if it's done properly. So I think the tool is magnificent. What used to take me a very long time to do, I can do in mere seconds. And so, I just did a presentation for an organization, had 18 of their leaders in the group. And I said the 3 things I'd be focusing on is mastering LinkedIn because it's incredible, video and how to use video in a personalized way.
For LinkedIn?
Video in general. We use Vidyard. Yeah. So, their CEO was on LinkedIn. I reached out to him 2 minutes later. We connected. We wound up having a virtual coffee. And, that use of video is so significant. So it's LinkedIn. It would be video and how to use it and where to use it. And then AI. I think a lot of people are running scared of the fact that AI would be taking human jobs. It makes people better.
You can be.
I absolutely am bullish on the fact that I am smarter, crisper, and just better because of my interaction with. And I've named my Chat GPT. I call him Rex, RX.
Oh, I always say I'm talking to her about my stuff. My mom thinks I'm crazy.
No,
She's
you're
like,
not.
It's an
So this is an interesting thing that you say because anything new that people get into, oh, you're crazy, that'll never work, because it's new.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's mainstream and they go, oh, so you're an early adopter. I applaud you for that. The fact that you're adopting this platform, doing a podcast at your age to get people in a seat to interview them and learn from them. I applaud you. I think it's wonderful. For the second time in the seat, you're incredible.
Yes.
You've done a great job,
Yes.
So kudos to your parents because I know both of them are wonderful people and they should be very proud.
They have a big influence on me.
Yeah.
Just one more question before we finish up. You are the owner of On the Ball. What does it mean to stay on the ball? Since I want to stay on the ball, and I'm sure all of you want to stay on the ball.
So I am part owner now because my boys actually took over the business a couple of years ago. I, for lack of a better term, am the chairman, and I am involved to the extent that I would be for clients and other businesses where I'm helping drive strategy and creative and, execution and all those things. But when I was a very young, aggressive guy moving up the ranks, people would say to me at whatever point in my relationship with them, man, you're really on the ball. And I said to myself, that would make a great name for a company.
Yeah.
And in my second iteration, after being in the cell phone business for almost 13 years, I started a company called On the Ball. And our mantra was to just help people get better, smarter. So being on the ball, if you look at all the adjectives of what being on the ball is, the main one that I took away was alert to new ideas. The dictionary definition of on the ball is alert to new ideas. So I was an early adopter of a lot of stuff that didn't work. But like early on, my boys said, Dad, what the hell are you doing on Facebook? And I was like, anywhere that they allow me to tell my story, I am telling it and I'm going to get really good at it. And so, I don't give advice. I give perspective, my perspective to anybody that's listening to this. And I hope you build a great audience and we will share it on our social channels when it's ready, is that who you are matters way more than what you do.
Yeah. You could be a janitor and you could be the most amazing person.
And you could be the best.
It doesn't matter what you do.
People in this universe buy who you are first and then what you do second. So if you think about it, people walk into a party and go, hi, I'm the president or I'm the vice president, which tells me nothing. But I walk in and go, I like tequila. What do you think has more fun and more conversation?
My dad too loves tequila.
That's why he and I bald glasses and we get along.
You guys are the same person.
He's amazing.
Yeah. You told me when we first met up at breakfast, you were like, that's what you do. I was telling you about my fundraiser and how I own a fundraiser. And that was my LinkedIn line. What's it called? The
tagline.
Yeah, tagline. And you were like, no, that's what you do. I want to know who you are.
And that made a difference, right?
Yeah.
Good.
It did.
You've done an amazing job. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for joining in today. And thank you, Steve, for letting me use your studio. And I hope
way to be on the ball.
Yes, way to be on the ball.